The 2024 Pittsburgh Steelers have made some of the biggest moves in the entire NFL this spring. They basically turned over almost every single offensive skill position, including adding former Super Bowl winning quarterback Russell Wilson and former first-round pick Justin Fields. Both of these players were pretty cheap additions for Pittsburgh due to some unfortunate circumstances for both players. But this makes the Steelers extremely interesting going into the 2024 season. Swapping out an entire quarterback room is something NFL teams typically only do when they are stripping down their rosters to the studs and rebuilding for the future. Pittsburgh is doing this while expecting to field a great defense and expecting to make some noise in the AFC North this year. The Steelers have made some moves this offseason that could go either way this upcoming season, and it feels like a lot of pressure will be on the offense to perform this fall. That puts Pittsburgh in one of the more interesting situations in the entire NFL. In this video, I'm going to dive in just what makes the Steelers so interesting in 2024, and with that being said, let's get right into it. First and foremost, I do want to talk about the quarterback room for the Steelers. That's what makes this team just so interesting. They turn over the entire quarterback room from going and having their first-round pick in Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky. They signed Mitchell Trubisky as well as kind of their hedge to sort of the hedge to Kenny Pickett. And of course, you still had Mason Rudolph starting a few games for this team as well in 2023. So just a complete overhaul of the quarterback room. Now you're looking at Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Kyle Allen as, your 1, 2, and 3. Probably in that order as well, I would think. Quarterback room is just, it's an overhaul. That is super interesting to me at least. Because, like I said in the intro, you typically would see an overhaul. You would see a new quarterback come into a team that is rebuilding, is probably young and trying to reset the roster a little bit. The Steelers still have a great defense, which we're going to talk about that later in the video. But the Steelers are looking to compete this year. And they have 3 new quarterbacks. Russell Wilson is brand new. Justin Fields is brand new. Kyle Allen is brand new. All spent time with different teams last year. And I do think the plan for the quarterback room is Russell Wilson will be the day one starter going into camp and probably even going into week 1. And then Justin Fields will kind of be your new Mitchell Trubisky, kind of your new hedge on if Russell Wilson kind of sucks. Then you have Justin Fields, who also might kind of suck. I mean, that's to be seen, I guess. But that is their quarterback room, and that's crazy, I guess, that they took basically the 2 guys that really had down years, or even down careers, really, for Justin Fields. They took both of those guys, and they're going to try to make them their quarterbacks. And I think that is it's definitely a strategy. I don't know if it will work out, but it does make them pretty interesting this upcoming season in 2024. And what they get out of the combination of Wilson and Fields, whoever ends up being that starter for them long-term this season, whoever starts, more games and stuff like that, whatever they get out of that guy will be crucial to their success in 2024. Just because they have such a great defense, they're going to be able to count on those guys and just what the offense can do. And I mean, obviously they got rid of Deontay Johnson and some of these other pieces. You look at the receiver room. George Pickens is really their receiver 1. Van Jefferson, they took Roman Wilson in the draft this year. Calvin Austin, Quez Watkins. Those are some of the guys on their roster right now. Just those 2 guys are going to be throwing the ball to. So it would be, I think it could be a struggle to put up points this year for the offense. But if you get good quarterback play out of Wilson or Fields, that could change all of this in 2024 for the Steelers. And naturally, I still want to talk about the Steelers defense here. They are going to be fantastic in 2024. In case you didn't know, they do still have TJ Watt. He is still a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's going to be such a good piece. He's a top 5 probably defensive player in the NFL, in the entire NFL. And that's, I don't know if he's number 1, but there are arguments to put him at number 1. I would probably take his division rival, Myles Garrett, to be the best defensive player in the NFL. But TJ Watt, if you say that he's the best player in the NFL on defense, I mean, okay, I can get behind that as well. He's still there, and just this, they're going to be a unit. I mean, they still have Cameron Hayward, Patrick Queen. They added Patrick Queen in free agency. That's going to be, well, I don't know how much I really like that pickup, to be quite honest, just off the top of my head right now. But we'll see how it ends up being on the field. I mean, Patrick Queen could come in there and have 150 tackles this year, 100-plus tackles. So Alex Highsmith, still a very good edge rusher as well, especially playing on the other side, really, of TJ Watt. Joey Porter Jr. coming into his, I believe, his second season now. Minkah Fitzpatrick going to be coming back to full health. And then, of course, you get Dante Jackson as in return for Deontay Johnson. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of a fair swap, to be honest with you. I kind of like that straight up right there. But, I mean, that really makes for a pretty decent defense. Not a decent defense. Larry Ogunjobi's still there as well. I do want to mention Ogunjobi. Another really contributing player for the Steelers. They're going to be great. They're not just going to be good. They're going to be great this year. I fully believe that. They were great last year, and this defense is going to be good enough to carry a team as well. They just need the offense to be not a negative for this team. If this offense can just be, I mean, if they can be a net positive, they will be a great team. But if this offense can just be a neutral offense that just doesn't hurt them and can score points at least a little bit, I think they can be a very good team, but the defense is absolutely still the center of this team. TJ Watt and the boys are still the center of this team, and they will be what catapults this team. If they can catapult this team to a contending team, it will be because of this defense in 2024. And finally, I do want to close this video out by talking about their head coach, Mike Tomlin. And this might actually get some pushback from Steelers fans or just NFL fans in general, but Mike Tomlin is a great NFL head coach. Like, one of the best NFL head coaches. Like, if he was fired today, he would be employed in 5 minutes, 10 minutes after he was fired by another team. Like, he is that good. He is a great NFL head coach. He has never had a losing season. I don't know if people fully understand how just valuable that is. I mean, to never have a losing season, he's never lost. That's incredible. That's incredible by Mike Tomlin. And I know some of the pushback of that might be, well, you're settling for mediocrity in these 9-8 seasons, right? You don't want to go 9-7, right? You don't want to do that. I understand where that is coming from, but the guy is just he constantly wins. He is constantly putting his teams in positions to go to the playoffs. And that's really where it all starts. You know how you win Super Bowls? You get in the playoffs. You know how you get in the playoffs? You have winning records. That's really where it all starts for Mike Tomlin. And another part I do want to bring up in this little segment here is I don't think a single NFL fan or Steelers fan would disagree that Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, any of the skeleton of Ben Roethlisberger at the end of his tenure in Pittsburgh, I don't think that anybody would disagree that these quarterbacks were not enough to elevate their team or to even play good. Most people would say these guys played bad, not good. I don't think that's even an argument. So why? And Mike Tomlin has elevated these teams to winning records with these quarterbacks. That is incredible in my mind. I expect him to do that again this year, regardless of who the quarterback is. He still has his great defense, as we just talked about. I fully expect him to capitalize on every single, just squeezing every ounce of blood out of that stone that he can. And he's going to do that this year, just as he's done every single year of his career. He's a great head coach. And like I said, I fully expect him to get the most out of this team as he possibly can in 2024. The Pittsburgh Steelers finished 10-7 and third in the AFC North in 2023, and this upcoming season can either be a building block on that record with the improvements that they made this offseason, or it can be another year of a middling record and no real hope of competing for a Super Bowl. And it would be such a shame to waste another year of this great defense that I think Pittsburgh will still have in 2024, and there is so much on the shoulders of the quarterback play this upcoming season. Even with all the moving and shaking they did this offseason, I'm still not sure the Steelers have an above-average starting quarterback in the league on the roster right now. And the worst part is, that's all they need is an average or a little above-average quarterback to lead this team, and I think they would be an extremely dangerous team in the AFC. As things stand right now, I'm not convinced they will get that type of play from either Wilson or Fields in 2024. But, of course, only time will tell, and that makes for a very interesting 2024 season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you enjoyed this video, check out the rest of my 2024 team outlooks. I'm going through every single team with this exact style of video, so check out the channel and see if I talked about your team yet. And as always, thank you for watching and subscribing.